Welcome back to F1 Report, everyone. It's race week. Oh wait, no, it's not. Sorry, force of habit recently. In the last couple of races, it's been clear that the Ferrari-Vettel split isn't as amicable as both parties have made it out to be at the start of the season. So, I want to ask the question in this video, would it be better for Ferrari and Sebastian Vettel to go their separate ways early? Let's take a look at how we got here, and then what the future may hold for both parties. Even before the season got started, Ferrari announced that Vettel's contract would not be renewed, instead replacing him with Carlos Sainz at the end of the season. The initial statement led everyone to believe that decision was mutual between the two parties, suggesting Vettel wanted to leave as much as Ferrari wanted to replace him. We then got to the season opener in Austria, and Vettel was able to sit down with the media for the first time and explain his side of things. It was at this point that we found out the split wasn't mutual at all. Vettel says he was willing to continue with Ferrari, and the decision to end the relationship was theirs. This showed the two parties were already not on the same page, even before the season got underway. In the early races of the season, Ferrari admitted that their car was massively off the pace, and this seemed to mask any issues publicly. However, once Ferrari started making aero changes, they moved the balance to favour Charles Leclerc, which makes sense. But unfortunately, the balance they found perfectly matched Vettel's weakness, a loose back end with a lack of traction. This led to some poor performances from Vettel, and these performances were not helped by Vettel having a cracked chassis that Ferrari were also reluctant to replace. In the last two races, we've seen an almost complete breakdown of communications between driver and team. The 70th anniversary Grand Prix, Vettel spun, compromising his race, and as he was recovering, Ferrari pitted him into traffic as his teammate was approaching. It was agreed before the race that he would not be pitted into traffic, and followed up with a "you know you messed up" over the radio. Ferrari went tit for tat, saying, "We thought at the time it would make no difference to him stopping earlier or later." It's unusual for any team to disagree publicly with a driver like this, but they're not done there. In the following race, in Spain, Vettel asked about the likelihood of a one-stop strategy and received no reply. And a couple of laps later, Ferrari then asked Vettel about the likelihood of a one-stop strategy, frustrating Vettel to the point of calling the team out publicly once again. So where do both parties go from here? It's clear that there's massive tension between the two, so perhaps a split would be mutually beneficial for both? Let's take a look in what direction they could both go. We'll start with Seb. He's been strongly rumoured for a number of seats over the past couple of months, with next year's Aston Martin appearing the most likely. Red Bull and Mercedes were also rumoured early in the season though. I won't go into the ins and outs of those moves in detail, I think that's another subject for another time, but what we do know is that nothing has been confirmed. That potentially leaves Vettel driving for his future in the sport right now. So the question of him leaving early becomes a question of damage to his reputation. Will staying at Ferrari for the rest of the season help him get a drive next season? Or will it only diminish his reputation as a top level driver? Now, my personal opinion, I think that even in a slow car, drivers can show their skill, and I think Vettel showed that in the race at Spain. If he keeps those performances up, he'll be positioned well to get a drive next year, I think. For Ferrari, things are a little more straightforward. They have a contract with Carlos Sainz for next season, but McLaren have said they are not willing to release him early. That leaves a temporary option for them. Of course, there will be many suitors for that. Nico Hülkenberg is the first one that springs to mind after his terrific performances for Racing Point. And with his push to get back into the sport next season, I'm sure he'll be happy to suit up again. There's also current F1 driver Antonio Giovinazzi. He's listed as a test and reserve driver for the Scuderia and would probably make an attractive option, but that would leave a hole in the Alfa Romeo team at that point. Ferrari also have a lot of younger drivers in F2 doing very well at the moment, but that would leave a lot of question marks surrounding their ability to gain a super license at such short notice. In the end, I think it comes down to the people involved. Do Ferrari think they can keep working professionally with Vettel? And does Vettel think he can keep working professionally with Ferrari? If that is the case, I think it would be the best option for both. It keeps Vettel on the grid, making him more attractive for teams next year, and it keeps a 4-time world champion in the Ferrari at a time where they need experienced feedback in order to improve the car. But that's just my opinion on the situation, and I want to know what you guys think. Do you think Ferrari and Vettel should stay together? What direction do you think things will go if they do split up? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll catch you in the next one.